This is being recorded for future use. Make a motion to accept April's minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consider that passed. Appointments. So we have
I
attorneys.
recommend the appointment of Stephen F. Meadows as attorney for the district.
All right, very good. Any discussion on this? Hearing none.
As of July 1st.
As of July 1st. Okay, as of July 1st, the appointment of Stephen Mattis.
Yeah, we should give him a little minute to talk about his firm.
Yeah, all right, that's fine.
I know you guys were briefed on it, but maybe the public would like to hear too.
Yep.
All right.
Go ahead. Yep.
Thank you. Is now a good time?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. First, I want to. Who's Matt that was emailing me?
That's Michael.
That's
Mike.
Oh,
that's the guy with the beard.
All right. I want to thank him for his persistence in getting me to be responsive. It's as you all know, busy time with town meeting season. I'm town council in Shrewsbury, Holden, and Boylston. But so I know he was after me, and I appreciated that. I appreciate the district reaching out to me. A little bit of my background. I started my career at the city of Worcester in public works, working with Bob Moylan and Paul Moosey. Of course, Worcester has a big water division. At the time, we were building a new water filtration plant in Holden under the Safe Drinking Water Act. I think it was a $60 million facility, but we were doing land takings for new pipes, water lines for that facility. And I was working with attorneys from the law department, and I thought that was kind of a better gig, if you will. I came from a family of attorneys. My sister lives in town, and she's in the DA's office in charge of the grand juries. But in any event, I, from public works, went to law school, worked for the city of Worcester in the law department for 5.5 years, working predominantly with public works and land use, planning board, zoning board of appeals, but a lot of procurement work, drafting council orders, that kind of thing. And then the firm, Myrick O'Connell, at the time, we're now Myrick as of about 2 weeks ago, kind of reached out to me to come over to do municipal work because nobody wanted to do it. It's such a minefield, as you know, and it changes regularly. So I went over to Myrick in 2001, and I've been there ever since as town council for Holden and Boylston since 2007. They don't have a water department, of course. They have a separate water district, but I do represent a number of water districts. As you know, because you identified them in your email, West Boylston, South Grafton. That's one thing I wanted to mention. If there's ever a conflict, we would have, and this has only arisen once since my 11 years in Shrewsbury and a longer time in Boylston. One time there was a potential for a dispute between the two towns on a development project. So both towns had to retain special counsel, who I was able to find, capable counsel to handle the matters. I couldn't. So similarly, if there was ever a conflict with South Grafton, or I can't imagine what it would be, but that would be the scenario. Otherwise, at my firm, because we have a municipal practice, we're always advising and providing client alerts on open meeting law, public records law. As I said, do a lot of procurement, a lot of public construction, 3039M for public works projects and 149 for building projects. Big protests. I don't know if you've been through that process. Unfortunately, Deb Anderson is no longer, she ran that office and she's no longer with it. So there's a new assistant attorney general at the bid protest unit. But I've been doing that for 30 years. And at my firm, a little bit about my firm, 75 attorneys. We have our labor and employment group that's very active on public employment matters. So they could assist in, for instance, updating your employee handbook or employee discipline matters, terminations, all of that. We've got a group that handles employment matters. We also have a bankruptcy group, which surprisingly does come into play on occasion. For instance, if you're seeking collections against a water customer who has declared bankruptcy, I learned that kind of the hard way. That you can't, bring actions against those that have declared bankruptcy. They get that protection under federal law. But it's good in my firm. We're not limited to municipal. We have these different practice groups. We have a litigation group, of course, that would handle litigation matters. Trust and estates group. We have a construction law group that does more private work, but there's overlap, of course, with the public work. So I meet with them regularly and handle both private and public construction. So a bit about my background. Happy to be here and appreciate the opportunity. The other person named in the proposal was Spencer Holland, who is a new partner at our firm. He was an associate for about 10 years and is more of a real estate municipal person, but well qualified. Also, Brian Falk at my firm is kind of an expert on open meeting law and public records. So he would be assistant as well. I had one question too, if I may. Is there an expectation for, I don't know if your current counsel attends the commissioners' meetings regularly, or is it as needed? Okay.
Usually just the annual meeting.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and that's for all the municipal work, of course, we draft warrant articles, warrants, motions, 10 meetings, yeah, all of that. Legislation, drafts, proposed special acts.
Yeah, just a quick question for me. I think
Suffolk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, you had a question?
Yeah, just I sent you an email. I know you're busy. Do we do a formal engagement letter? Is it a shake of hand or?
Yep. No, I can get you a formal engagement letter. I tried to finish it last night, but I put the wrong date on it. So
No,
because
that's fine.
I'll get that to you today.
No rush.
And
We
as
can-
you know, with counsel, it's not a contract really. It's just
Right.
acknowledgement of the engagement with some terms. But like any client, you're free to move on from counsel at any time. So it's not a like a term. It's because that's public policy, right? That you can always retain who you're most comfortable with and who you feel is competent. So it's an engagement letter. Yes, I can get that to you this afternoon.
Yeah, we just want you to know that you represent us and the public
That's
to know that you represent us. So
Yeah, it
That's
would.
great.
What I learned this morning, we'll have in there a commencement date of July 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Mary has said she'll finish up the fiscal year, so that's good.
Okay.
And I can let her know that you'll be taking over in case there's any information she wants to pass on to you. So
Yeah, I mentioned Spencer Holland in my firm, who I refer to as Two Towns, but he just became counsel for Acton Water District,
Oh,
and
good.
so
Yeah.
he knows your current counsel from that transition. So we've worked with her.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we still have a motion on the table to accept Attorney Mattis. So all in favor? Aye. So move. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Look forward to working
I
together.
wouldn't wait around. I'd take over.
Okay. All right, thanks, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good rest of the meeting.
Yeah.
And I'll get you that letter. Email it to Matt.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, next up is correspondence from Lydia Bogar.
Lydia's not here.
Okay, so I guess we will pass on that until next meeting.
Hold on.
Just to put it on the record, and you people have been here, you've seen her here, we've acknowledged her, we've addressed her issues. We've hired a communications firm to help us out because apparently we don't get across enough. We've got a new website. We've gone on Facebook. People can call the office. I know Lydia has spoken to me on several different occasions at the senior center when I'm playing cards to ask me questions relative to the water district, what's going on, the water issues, anything with the water department. She's come to meetings. We do broadcast on cable. The meeting info is out there. We published a specific special communication, gave it out to the selectman's office, council on aging, public libraries. I gave Lydia a copy. I haven't had one question from senior citizens. I'm in there with them 2 days a week minimally. I shouldn't say everybody, but a vast number of people in the town know the water problem we're having. Know we're looking at a 53. I project it'll probably go 55, $58 million. But we've tried to address it. Now, you don't understand who the people Lydia is talking to that aren't talking to us. Do you people in your position in the town have knowledge of this, that there's a problem there?
A problem in terms, I didn't see the correspondence, a problem in terms of communication.
With the elderly, it's what she's describing.
Okay.
Like they're not understand. They don't have computers, Facebook, or anything to that extent. So that's more the communications to them. That's
And
weird.
she requested that you go to the senior center, is that what it was?
Excuse me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think she requested, yeah, so perhaps you can see it, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, outside of every time something goes on, we send out a mailing to everyone in our district, which is feasibly, really not doable. But we tell people, if you have a question, don't go to Facebook or anything, call the office, and if something happens after hours, you can leave a message on the answering machine. We'll get it in the morning and call you back and see if the problem's resolved, or we can come out. But I don't understand where she's saying that we're not getting the point. I mean, the last year we've tried nothing but to communicate better with
Especially
everybody.
with the amount of money that's going to be engaged in this project. It's vital that people know that. So,
Anyway, we spoke to her at our annual meeting. She came in, and I know Ken speaks with her more frequently than anybody else. So
I speak with her quite frequently as well, and I think, just in general, certainly, I think the water district has really stepped up the game in terms of communication over the past year. So that's great. And then just like on select board, it's always trying to figure out how you keep finding other people, right?
yeah,
financial report, treasurer's report. You going to do that?
I know.
Wendy's on.
Wendy's there.
Oh,
Good morning.
yeah, good morning.
All right, so the treasurer's report for April, the opening balance was $2,042,000. The receipts were $567,000. The disbursements were $916,000 for a closing balance of $1,693,000. Page 2, revenue this fiscal year ending April 30th. $3,102,430 to last year's $3,227,244. Operating expenses, $2,302,189 to last year's $1,764,526. Interest income, $72,469 to last year's $116,591. Net income, $858,316 to $1,550,115. Water revenue only, $2,341,035 to last year's $2,637,020. Connection fees, $691,000 to last year's $518,600. Page 3, system improvements. Spent year to date, 259,717 out of the 325,000. The vehicle, 0. Pigeon Hill tank and booster, 1,890,001 of the 1,850,000. Engineering future PFAS treatment, 648,716 of the 250,000. Professional services, 13,427 out of the 50,000. Worcester Street East SRF, 738,915 out of the 23 million. And Trinity Foliate, 48,663 out of the 33,928. Page 4, cash accounts. MMDT, 1,850,788. Unibank Depository, 507,127. UniPay, 99,131. Payroll, 48,171. Debit card, 6,081. Vendor, 817,955. For a total of 1,693,375, plus the OPEB, 640,785, for a total of 2,334,160. The vendor account has a credit balance because the warrant was done on 4/28 because of the annual meeting, but I didn't transfer the money till May 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, and just a
That is
reminder,
it.
just a reminder on the capital accounts that are over, we balanced most of those at the annual meeting with the appropriation of new funding.
Yes, I knew that, but we have to break them out. Some of them were combined at on the article, so I just need to break out, put it on.
Yeah. Yeah, Wendy and I will work on getting those all balanced, so the auditor is happy with them, so.
All right. Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. District Council's correspondent non-SPC report.
As my report shows, we're working with Tater and Howard and Geosphere on the Water Management Act permit changes for Follett Street. We had a letter from DEP finally about some concerns and questions they had, so we're responding to them I think we have to have the response by the middle of June. So we've been working on that response. Dave and actually the town have been working on some of their mitigation measures that reflect sewer infiltration and stuff like that help us allow us to get more water withdrawals. The water audit that we're doing to hopefully find out where we're having some of this unaccounted for water is ongoing, and Dave and Adam and staff have been working with the Tater and Howard on getting them the information they need. We're working on the plans for Worcester Street. We've been having bi-weekly meetings with Ty and Bond to design, the project, and we actually have a meeting today. The progress prints are about 40% complete right now, and we're looking to bid that for a bid opening in October, and that's for the Worcester Street station. And then East Street will follow shortly behind that. We've had a couple of projects come before us. There's 2 projects on Upton Street and the UPS facility that's in the Shrewsbury, Grafton line. Dave and I worked together to get those letters together for approvals. UPS will hopefully give us a significant connection fee shortly, so that might put off our short-term borrowing a little. Wendy and I have been talking about when we're going to need to do some short-term borrowing based upon when we're going to get the SRF funding replaced from money that we're spending every month. And then I've been working a little on the Follett Street Trinity Ave PFAS plant, which will be in the field down off of Follett Street. We're doing some preliminary work on wetlands locations and getting the survey for the site plan done. So we can start that progress. So working on that. Any questions? Okay, that's all I got.
Matt, what about number 6 on the SPC?
I
Oh, yeah,
I
five.
don't
I
have
only have
numbers.
five.
I only have 5.
This was
What'd I say?
this was the group home.
Oh, that must have been, you must be
That was last
looking
month,
at
Mike, I think.
last month.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
last. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That
Yeah,
was,
we
yeah,
did-
that was
we did
attached to the
vote on-
minutes, yeah.
Yeah, we did that. Yep.
We voted
Looking
on
at
that.
Looking at the
Yeah.
wrong one. All right. Very
Okay,
good.
Shows you're paying attention, though.
I am paying attention. All right. So SBC report's all set. Superintendent's report.
So East Street, they redeveloped the well, searched it, cleaned it, however you want to word it. We had to order a new pump. The other one, the bearings were shot, the impellers were worn. So we're waiting on that to come in. I just got a text from Owen, the guy doing the work, and he's on his way over there now to put the new well back in. So hopefully by next week, at the latest, we'll have East Street back up and running. Worcester Street has been running okay. We've had issues with the chlorinator, but we've managed to keep it running. And it hasn't been, we haven't had overly abundance of calls. We have had some, obviously, but not as bad as I honestly thought it was going to be. So yeah, once we get that up, we'll dial Worcester Street back down again. And, depending on our water, how effective our water band is, we might hopefully not going to have to use Worcester Street as much as we normally would in the summertime.
Water band's working pretty good too.
Yeah.
We've had some calls, but it's been working.
Just update on Taylor did get his D1 in training license. I got to get him to sign up to take his T1 license test. Adam got the approval, just waiting for it to come in the mail for his T2 license. Tim is now taking a class so he can take his D and T1 in training license test. That's going to run till, I believe, June, the end of June, middle of June. So, hopefully after early July or whatever, you can take the test and get him on the books for a license. We had Paul come in and he repaired the front foyer, the sheetrock on the sides of the doors that was all corroded due to the salt. So he did a pretty good job with that. Put a gutter over the front so people don't get water dripping down their neck as they try to come in when it's raining. So we are going to need to appoint, or you guys are going to need to appoint a new chairman of the board
Okay.
and appoint Wendy as treasurer and Larry as district council.
Michael,
Yes.
Bob's not here. Let's stick him with us. I
Either,
move that we appoint.
either that.
Huh?
Hold on, Ken. Ken, either that or we just wait until next month and appoint it next month when the 3 of us are sitting at the table.
Oh no, let's get him now.
That's up to you guys. I just write down.
I'm gonna
what
make
you
a
say.
motion that we make Bob the chairman.
Uh,
Hey, I'll do that to you sometime when we're at 2.
so true. But in all honesty, Ken, I'd rather wait until all 3 of us are at the table.
I don't care what you'd rather. I've made a motion.
And I'm not going to second it.
I'll remember that.
I just can't stick it to him.
Oh, no, you haven't done that before?
I have not.
Look at the mirror in the wall. It's shaking. All right, move on then. I move that we appoint Wendy as treasurer.
I second that.
Chicken.
All in favor?
Aye.
And obviously, we're not going to appoint Mary as district council, or do we appoint her to the end?
Appointed until June 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a convoluted answer that Adam and I discussed briefly. Typically
Thought you already
we reappoint, but it's a formality. You can reappoint until July 1st because that's what she requested. But
All right, so then with what Matt just said, we'll appoint Mary as district counsel until July 1st.
yeah, where we don't have an engagement letter signed yet, and
Okay, yep.
we need district counsel. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Motion on the table to appoint Mary. Do I hear a second?
I think we can wait till next month today.
All right, Ken. If
We
you
can
want to
do
be,
them all together.
if you want to be a legal counsel for the whole month of May.
District council we need.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a motion on the table to appoint her till July 1st. You gonna second it? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, business managers report.
I only have a few small things, just so you guys are aware. Melissa and I went through all the solar credits, and we did change some credits for where they're being added to. So just to kind of mitigate some of our electric bills and everything like that. So we just changed some percentages around. Nothing's really drastic, but we had a good surplus at East Street, so we're making that continuously being used, and then adding some to others just to lower those bills. And then we did have an issue, not a slight issue. We're working on updating the rules and regs on just meter location. We had one where a house had to relocate their water service and it couldn't be pulled. So they have according to one of our operators, they have about 65 to 70 feet of copper inside their house before the meter that got ran above head in the ceiling there in their basement. So we're just looking at some rules and regs. We're going to update that information and get that to you guys to see if you would like to approve that. We worry about sometimes of like someone having that much piping before the meter because they could easily tap into it and we would have no idea. So I'll get you some updated info on that. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, everything else is going pretty smooth. Like David mentioned regarding the water, the mandatory outside water usage and everything like that we've been dealing with. We've got a few calls, nothing too crazy. More customers talking about other people than us finding anything, which has been good. So that's about it.
I just want to go back to the superintendent's report for 1 second. I just want to say that I'm ecstatic about Tim taking the class for his license. And I also want to congratulate Taylor and Adam on getting their license on the D1 and T2. Thank you for doing that. Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll let Tim know as well.
Yes. Old business, there is none. New business, large water user inquiry.
Yeah, so we got this email. I reached out to Paul from the sewer department. He did not receive this email. I don't know why. So it was the first he had heard of it. So basically, they want to use tentatively 400,000 gallons a day, which basically is what our Follett Street pump station pumps. So if this was to go in, we would basically lose Follett Street. So at this time, I spoke to Matt and I showed Adam. At this time, we're probably going to reach, well, we kind of tentatively already have, but we're going to reach out to him and them and say that at this time, we don't have the capacity to supply them with this amount of water. Maybe in 2 or 3 years, when we get all of our plants up and running, and we got Trinity Ave running.
When do they anticipate they'd have their facility?
What I sent you guys is all we've gotten. We don't even know who or what they're doing.
When you follow up with them, would you ask them what their construction timeline is and when and we have the working arrangements with Shrewsbury too for water, correct?
Well, we are supplying
and they
part of Shrewsbury, but that we don't have an interconnection with them.
I know.
Right with that, Matt? Or?
Yeah, I mean, Shrewsbury has no water to give us, but
how many people do?
Over the years, we get these requests or request for information from companies. They're basically looking to site, you know, a building somewhere, and they just want to make sure they have all the capacities they need. Sometime, you know, in the past, we've said, yeah, we have that capacity, but I think at this point, you know, we can't guarantee that kind of water for at least 4 years. So we just wanted to make sure that the board was aware of what our potential response would be.
What would they use that level of water consumption?
It doesn't stay.
Wash in the trucks or
Could be
what?
biotech.
You know,
Yeah, a lot of the
a little more information on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pharmaceutical manufacturers, they can use up to 1 million gallons a day in their processes. I don't know why, but that was originally the town with the biotech park. You know, that was their goal. And at the time, we had some water, but you know, none of those.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at that and I'm saying, again, what does UPS use the water for? Maybe
just
they could wash.
requested.
They could wash their trucks someplace else or something. I don't know what else they'd use it for.
All right. Well, I agree. I mean, we don't have the means of providing the water to these people right now. So I would, you know, we would do a letter or at least call the CBRE group, I guess, who's doing this and let them know what our decision is.
Yeah, Dave can respond.
So
yeah, but get more information as to also why such a high water use.
Yeah, I've read it 3 or 4 times, and it doesn't even give a hint to what they're doing with it.
and just for reference, the CBRE group, I think, is a real estate company, so they're not even the company that is actually even.
Yeah.
You know, so we really don't know what it is.
Yeah, and a lot of times they won't divulge who their client is either.
Unless the town knows what it is.
You know, they don't want that.
We don't even know where it is.
We don't even know what property or what location. Yeah, just in town.
I was just gonna ask, because Ken, you mentioned UPS, but this isn't UPS.
Oh, this is not UPS.
No,
You know, the
UPS doesn't.
economic development folks have been trying to target, you know, obviously biotech, et cetera, or Centec, but I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yes, I'm just sorry. I was just reading the letter one more time, and yeah, there's absolutely nothing in that letter that states what it is or where it is or. So
what they need for water and wastewater.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, I would get a hold of this person, Kendall Lynch, which is the vice president of the CBRE group, and give them our answer.
Yeah, I'll send them an email today.
Maybe it's Budweiser.
Ooh.
There wouldn't be much waste there, except aluminum.
Next is the active subdivisions, which I kind of think we pretty much know what's going on there.
Yeah, I just added the 188 Providence Road, the Upton Street, 2 Upton Street ones in UPS, because those are all starting construction now. So
so it is what it is. Next is single family applications, which is none. And I guess our next meeting will be June 11th at 7:45.
Oh, to adjourn.
I second that.